Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's live webinar. I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui from Time Research and Innovation, GenZ Marketing Agency, and Neurodivergent Business Consortium. As you know, that we do this live every Friday, and we have other lives of rest of the week. So I do appreciate your support and contribution throughout this channel. And we did have some technical difficulties previously, but I'm not sure that if we have any technical difficulties, I will have a look in a minute that, okay, on LinkedIn specifically, when I am adding my channel on the LinkedIn, people do not see the program. But I think it will be resolved. Yes, it is resolved. Thank you very much to Reese team for that, because we have a very specific program today, and I think it's a lot of people registered, and they wanted to talk to our guest, and we have a very special guest today, and we will talk about 1 hour. And today we will cover learn to speak with impact. Create your 5 speaker assets to grow and scale your business. And you know that um, nowadays is all social media. And when you have social media, uh, if you are a small business owner, you might need to learn some skills for presentation as well as uh, talk with impact. And we have an impact coach today. I'm going to introduce her. Some of you might know her, Sarina Mann. Sarina, thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks for inviting me, Shah.
Okay, those you do not know Sarina, she's an impact coach, speaker, and she also support businesses that you can speak specifically if you have any problems. A person like me, I follow Sarina a lot because I have speaking problems and a lot of other things, short memories and others. So we're going to be talking in detail about that. So Sarina, I would request you if you could introduce yourself to the audience, that would be great.
Sure. Thanks very much. So, I'm Sarina, as you know, the founder of Breakthrough Public Speaking, and I'm a presentation skills coach and trainer. And I'm also a keynote speaker. I deliver talks about things to do with communication. So, challenges that we can have in communication, in particular, communication in the workplace. That can be giving presentations, that can be speaking on camera or speaking for a live event, virtual event like this. It can also be about interpersonal communication skills, like how to give and receive feedback. So, I talk about these topics and I also deliver training in the workplace about this. And for smaller businesses, I also work with them to help them to be confident and impactful speakers, whether that's for in-person audiences and online, and to create their 5 speaker assets as a toolkit to really that they can use to grow their business through speaking.
Thank you, Sarina. It's been a pleasure. I know Sarina for many years now. I live in Southampton, and I can see that she's helping many people. I've been to some of her speaking events, and I like them very much because the way she help people is different than as usual other. You might see her doing other work as well, and I'm impressed the way she engaged with the community work as well as with um, religious work. So uh, she's a person that you can trust on her. If she's on your case, you will speak. That's I can definitely tell. And thank you for everyone joining today's live webinar. You know that we had some technical issues our previous events. So today it is very good that we don't have that technical issue. If you wanted to ask Sarina anything about speaking and our conversation, please feel free to ask us through the comment box. I can see on the comment box someone has added their profile. And I would request, Sarina, if you could add your profile to the comment box, then people can easily get your details from there. Or I can also add it because it's on it's already been here.
That'd be great. Thanks, Shah.
Yeah. So As you know, Sarina, you've been working long time and creating individual speaker profiles and so on. What motivated you to become a speaker?
Thanks for the question, Shah. One of the biggest motivating factors for me wanting to teach others to speak is that I used to have a terrible fear of public speaking. As when I was growing up, I had stage fright. I'm an introvert. I had really high anxiety, and I didn't do any type of speaking in front of others, whether that was at school, at college, at university, in my first jobs. So I avoided it. But at some point, I realized this was very inhibiting. That you can't really fulfill your life's ambitions through hiding away from opportunities. So I realized at some point this was a really important skill to have. And there was a point in my life where I had an opportunity to develop new skills, and I joined Toastmasters International. I decided to train in leadership skills, communication, and public speaking. And during this period, that's when I found myself as a speaker. I entered multiple speech contests and became this award winning speaker, and even won at district level. For those of you who are familiar with Toastmasters, then they have different levels of contests and competitions. So I felt very enlightened by this whole experience because I've realized that public speaking was a skill, and a skill that anyone can learn, even if you're shy, even if you're an introvert, even if you don't think you're a natural speaker. And that blew my mind, because I think there's a myth that goes around where you can think that you either have it or you don't. You either have the personality or you don't. You're either a natural speaker or you're not. And that's really not the case. It's a skill, just like driving. Anyone can just learn to drive. It's not about your personality or character. You just learn the techniques, and then you've got it. And public speaking is the same. So when I felt that, I just wanted to share the message. But also, interestingly, developing myself as a speaker also had another effect. And that was that becoming a confident speaker meant I also felt more confident and comfortable in other areas of my life. I was able to communicate better in other areas of my life because I felt confident speaking in front of a group. And when you feel overall confident about this, I think it really enhances your overall sense of well being, because it's so
Mhm.
frustrating when you can't really communicate your views and express yourself. But when you can, that's of course better for yourself and the people you're trying to communicate to. But overall, you just have a sense of well being. So, what I wanted to do after that was just share that with other people. I thought, everyone needs to know this. Everyone needs to know that.
I totally agree with you because I was an introvert my entire life. I know I was afraid of talking to people. Even I could not express. But things have changed when I have some big incidents in my life. So I thought that, okay, if I do not talk, then I'm no one. Okay. And then I had speech problems, memory problems, and a lot of other things. And even when I started my webinar, I'm doing it for last 1.5 years, so on, starting with in-person events and then doing my online events. uh, it's every day I'm learning new things. Every day I'm getting more courage to talk. Every day, it's like you say that it's like a driving. So when you start driving, uh, in 10 years time, you become like you can drive with your eyes closed. I think we're going to be talking in detail of your 5 speaking profile. So to start with, the first one, what is your first magic?
The first out of those five speaker assets, the first one would
Yeah.
be your signature speech. So every business needs a signature speech or a signature talk where you can deliver this at a networking event, you can deliver it at a workshop or on the stage or platform within a some kind of business expo. So you have a speech it's got all the elements to it that connects with the audience. It's got the right messaging, the right personal story that goes with your business, and it clearly demonstrates a problem that you solve. It clearly shows your credibility, that you're the right person to solve that problem, and it clearly demonstrates a solution for your audience and includes a call to action. So your signature talk is what you can use to get more clients, get more visibility, and ultimately sales for your products or services. What tends to happen is that people shy away from speaking. So they shy away from those opportunities. When we have opportunities at a networking event, people might say, I don't want to do that, or you don't put your name forward for to speak at business expos. So those opportunities are lost, mostly because of confidence, I would say, and also not knowing how. The other mistake people can make is that they put together a speech, but it's just a really poor speech. It's not engaging, and they lose their audience because their audience are not interested in how they're presenting. Really, that's what it is. Not necessarily they're not interested in their product or service. They're not interested because that speaker hasn't been engaging. Okay, so that's what I see quite a bit. And then they think, oh, why don't I get any results? Because they haven't actually engaged their audience very much. So your signature speech really is one of your biggest tools that you can use. It's an asset because you just create it once and then you use it again and again and again and again. That's why I call it an asset, because it's not like every different networking event you need to create a new talk. You really don't. Create one amazing speech that you're totally confident about, that wins your audience every time, and use it again and again and again. You can record it. That can be online. It can be in person. It can be at every single event. And the magic about it is that every time you do it, the stronger you'll get. And that's fantastic thing about using that same speech. You don't need to keep recreating the wheel. At the end of the day, there's only one main thing that you're doing within your business. This can also be called a key. In the business world, it's often called a keynote speech, but I don't tend to use that word because in the speaker world, a keynote speech is something else. That's when you're paid to speak, let's say at a company, and you're not selling anything. You're motivating, you're inspiring, you're educating, but you're not talking about your business. So that is technically a keynote speech, but often within the business world at a business expo, we might say, and the keynote speaker is, and that's someone who's speaking on a platform or doing a workshop. So sometimes those terms are interchangeable, but ultimately what that is your main speech that gets everyone else on board and gives you more opportunities. From this speech as well, all your other assets form. From this one speech, then you get more clarity about your pitch, about your videos. Everything comes from the content of your signature speech.
I understand what you just mentioned. I just wanted to ask you a related question. I know that it's important for SMEs, the leaders. They wanted to engage and they wanted to place them in a strong position. Why should SME leaders or anyone should have the assets one? Why?
Great question. The main reason we need that is for visibility. So if we're not speaking to people, people don't know about us. And I speak to people all the time, one-on-one, but that's a lot of work, right? So what we actually want to do is start speaking one to many. So you're giving a speech opportunity. Oh, there's 500 people who's going to be listening. Great. Those are 500 conversations, 500 opportunities. That's brilliant. So you get much more visibility. The other thing that does is it gives you credibility. As soon as you start speaking about a topic, people immediately think, well, you're an expert. You've got all this to say about your topic. You must really know your topic. And then people start speaking about you in a good way. They start speaking about you, if the speech is good, that is. They start speaking about you and spreading the word. So your audience becomes like the people who market you, like Shah was saying all these wonderful things about me. Thank you very much. So then it's someone who's been in the audience who says, hey, you know what? This person is amazing and they can help you do this. And that's ultimately what you want. You want people in the audience to spread the word. And they'll only do that when they've been part of something special like your talk. The other reason really is about converting the people who listen to you, right? So you want to bring them from just interested sort of people into your clients, right? You want to bring them from prospect to client. And that's one of the best ways to do that is through speaking. You deliver your message with clarity. It's not only speaking, it's delivering it with clarity, delivering it with impact, bit of humor, maybe your story, these kinds of things. And that can really engage your audience. So the big why is that you'll convert people into being your clients because they'll relate to you more from how you speak. one of the things we say as a speaker is, use stories, use things that can really relate to people. And this can make a huge difference, because it's the difference between people just thinking, that person's okay, to, wow, they're amazing. I totally get them. I think they can get me, and I really want to work with them. So that's ultimately why it builds your visibility, your credibility, the trust in people, and inspires them to want to work with you.
That was a great explanation, Sarina. I really appreciate the way you talk. I'm not sure I can be similar like you, but everyone is different, isn't it? You are different. The other person, they're going to be, you're going to be training to them. They're going to be different. But what I have
Exactly.
observed, and as well as what I have experienced, that there are some negative thoughts people in the community, and there are some positive thoughts community people in the community. So when you wanted to do something that is out of your comfort zone, some people will drag your leg, like, okay, don't do that, you can't do it better. People will laugh at you, and some people, they will inspire you. So when I started my speaking career, I pushed myself, because uh, I have to start my PhD, and there is lots of speaking over there, and I wasn't very good at it. So I was introverted. I didn't want to talk, but I have to challenge myself to come back from that barrier. And all my 4 years of PhDs, I trained myself that how can I talk, how can I present, and a lot of different things, self-learning, and a lot of other things. But working for academia and working for business is two different things. So in that region, my another question would be what you should do if people drag your legs, that
Great
you cannot do
question.
it.
Yes. So when people drag you down, I think that's a great question, because that can happen sometimes. And when you're trying to do something like overcome a fear, you've got enough going on already that's dragging you in the opposite direction. Your own limiting beliefs is saying, don't do it. Your fears are saying, don't do it. The last thing you want is to be around other people who tell you not to do that. So I think it's really important to surround yourself with the right people. For me,
Mhm,
that's really, really important. And it's something I've observed in my life for many, many years, but that the people I surround myself with are essential, because you're
mhm,
influenced by them, right? You're influenced by those people around you. So if I want to achieve something, I'll hang around with the people who've achieved that, or who are striving to achieve that. And that's crucial, because if you're just around people who are thinking, oh no, don't do that, it's, you don't, it's scary, or people make fun of you, then you will start to listen to it, because it's just human nature to be influenced. No matter how
mhm,
strong or courageous anyone thinks they are, really, it's just natural to be influenced by those around us. When you have a goal,
mhm,
then see what you've got in place around you to reach that goal. We need to be focused
mhm,
and disciplined, but our environment and the people around us count too. So I would say choose to be around the right people. Just like if you're running a business, you want to be around other successful business owners, so that you can support one another and face those challenges together, but also not be discouraged or disheartened when things don't go to plan. And maybe when you're feeling discouraged, they can say, hey, remember, you always get your ups and downs, keep going. So a good friend to me, and a good colleague, or a good person to have in your life, is always someone who um, encourages you to be the best that you can be.
Thank you, Serena. I think it will help many people. They are listening and watching this webinar, because we will have negative people and positive people both in the community, because we are human. So it's a negative thing and positive thing within us. So if we are surrounded with the positive people, or doesn't matter if you're surrounded by positive, negative, both, if you have a strong will, you can succeed, because uh, we are talking about the SMEs, how to become a speaker, and how you can create 5 speaker assets for your business to grow. So if you're a business person, probably you have that capacity, that okay, you can think, you can transform, and you can create and you can contribute, isn't it? So if you have that capacity, why can't you talk? Why can't you do all other things? So thank you very much for your time today. And I would thank all the audience that have joined today. This webinar. If you wanted to ask us question, please feel free to ask us through the comment box. We already have 2 questions on the comment box. I'm going to ask you that. But before I jump into it, uh, these 5 speaker profiles you have created for working in long time in your industry. Why that is 5? Why not is 6, 7, or why not is 3?
Yeah. So there are 5 speaker assets because these are what I've identified as the most important ones to start growing your business, right? And it almost covers every type of speaking event that you can do. So firstly, it's your signature talk. That's something you would traditionally do in person, although that can be delivered online as well. At your networking working event, you always need your keynote or signature talk at the ready. So you can deliver in 10 minutes, you can deliver in 20 minutes, you can deliver in 1 hour. You're at the ready to speak for your business at any opportunity. You also need your networking pitch because as business owners, we always go to networking, or if we're not, we should be going to some networking so that we can get our message out there and meet new contacts. And in networking, you need to have a pitch. But this also is more broad. It's about your 60-second pitch and how to make that clear and bold and get you the results that you want. But it's also about working the room type networking, how to approach someone when they're in a group, and how to have a conversation about your business. So that's sort of the speaking skills we need for networking. And then it's your webinars. So this day and age, live webinars like this, they're so crucial to businesses. It could be a webinar, but it could also be other online things. You could do other online events, and also, let's say, an online workshop. But things that people do in the online space is just something that it would be silly not to utilize. Sometimes for larger companies, it would be things like meetings or client meetings or demos, this kind of thing that might deliver online, especially when they're working with people internationally. So being able to present on camera for live events, again, is crucial to business success. The 4th one is your social media videos. You've probably seen now everything's about video these days. Just recently on LinkedIn, they've got a new feature, videos for you feature, where you can just scroll through videos on LinkedIn. So video really is huge. So to run a business where you're not on video, you're not doing videos, again, it's missing out. So if you can make the most of those, then of course you'll get more visibility. You'll get that credibility, trust, all these things going because you're seen more. Oh, I saw you speak at an event, and then they see you deliver an amazing networking pitch, and then they maybe attend one of your webinars, and then they see you on your social media videos. Then maybe they go to a homepage or landing page that you've got, and boom, they see your video. So your 5th asset is like a homepage video. That's a longer style video, where the social media videos are more your portrait style, shorter videos. The homepage video is your longer style video. You might be talking for 2 to 3 minutes, saying exactly what you do, who you help, and the types of problems that you solve for people, and what it's like to work with you. So again, they have so many touch points. And when you think about that, that's very different from just reading a bit of text or seeing a photo of you. It's completely different. So by having all of those touch points, people can get to know you and your business so much more. And it just quickens the pace of people becoming customers, basically, because they feel they know you better. I've had people say, oh, I feel like I know you because I've seen all your videos and I've maybe seen your homepage video, your social media videos. So it is a bit like you feel you know that person when they're speaking on video. So that's why I created those 5. Some of them are a little bit interchangeable, like with the webinar, that could be an online workshop. Sometimes we also add in some kind of in-person workshop or masterclass like this. But overall, those are the 5 main speaker tools or assets that any business would need to really start to grow their business.
Thank you, Sarina. Thank you very much for the clarification. So to all the audience, thank you very much for your support today and watching our events. As we said, spread the word, because you need to spread the word that we can work more and as well as we can cover more. So you know that in this webinar we bring different people for contribution, and every speaker they are joined with their expertise. They contribute a lot to the subject matter. They are qualified. So we would request you to support us, spread the word, and if you wanted to talk to Sarina, you can contact her through the LinkedIn and all of the social media. And those people they have joined late. Sarina is a communication speaker and a creator of the breakthrough methods. And we're going to be talking more on that. We just have some questions from the audience. The first question is from Asama. What are the core elements of effective speaking?
Brilliant.
Um,
The core elements of effective speaking. So there are quite a few core elements to consider, but I would say let's start with confidence, right? Because this is a
mhm,
big aspect of speaking. You don't want to be speaking in front of a crowd when you're shaking and when you're very nervous and maybe stumbling over words because of nerves. So confidence is the first thing to really make progress in with regard to
mhm,
speaking. And there are many different ways to do that, like learning the skills. That's where your confidence comes from, competence. The next I would say is learning traditional presentation skills, right? So that can be some of them overlap between in person and online, and some of
mhm,
them are a little bit different. But you can think of, for instance, your body language. So, body language is an important part of speaking. That includes your facial expression. In fact, facial expression is probably
mhm,
one of your more important parts of body language when speaking on camera, because, of course, that's really the most what you see when you're on camera. But when you're in a room, then it's about owning the stage and not just staying in one spot. So, body language. Another aspect is the language that you use. So,
mhm,
how are you making your talk engaging? Are you using the right language? And how is this language fitting into a good structure? So, with speaking, we always,
mhm,
we use a good structure to make sure that everything is clear and it's digestible for our audience. But words matter too. So, it's language and structure. You're thinking about words that are engaging, a little bit like copywriting. When a copywriter writes something, they're thinking about words that really will make an impact on the audience. So, as a speaker, you want to think of your words too. Maybe for
mhm,
this part of the speech, I'm going to ask my rhetorical question. Maybe I'm going to use some repetition. Maybe I'll use a powerful word like imagine as part of my speech. So, it's thinking about language. Also, your pace and your pitch. So, how quickly are you speaking or how slowly?
mhm,
And when do you use different pace at different times? Wanting to
mhm,
say something in a more excited way, you probably vary your pace and pitch, right, to maybe a higher pitch and
mhm,
maybe a little bit faster. And then if you're saying something a bit more serious, maybe you have a lower pitch and a slower pace as well. So those are some core elements, I'd say. Your body language, your language and structure, your pace, pitch, your voice. Ultimately, what you're looking for is congruence, so that when you
mhm,
speak, everything is congruent, so that your personality is matching your words, matching your message, everything matches. Because when there's not congruence, then that can be difficult for the audience to really digest and understand. Another core element I'd say is engagement. We want to be able to engage our audience. That could be through the language we use, but also that can be through some kind of audience interaction, like questions like we're having now, or asking the audience to raise their hand if. So this kind of engagement, especially this day and age where people are very distracted, you need to work harder to engage them to make sure they don't just lose track or get bored with what you're saying. So being able to engage your audience, I'd say those are some real core principles around speaking.
Thank you, Serena. And thank you, Asama, for your questions. And we're going to be having more questions. I'm going to ask you more questions as well. So the next question is from Farouk. He said, what specific speaking challenges do you face?
Speaking challenges. So before I became a speaker, I certainly faced the challenge of not feeling confident. Growing up, I was very worried about speaking in front of others. I had stage fright. I'm an introvert. So I had many challenges with that. I think introversion is an interesting thing because many introverts can feel less likely to want to speak in front of others because we don't want to be the center of attention, this kind of thing. So I think that's a little hurdle to overcome. But once you face those, and this is what I found in my own experience, once I faced that, then speaking was easy and it really wasn't a huge deal. And I realized that's why I realized everyone can do this. Everyone can face that challenge, be more confident, learn the skills, and then really just get that message out there. So I think I faced probably a very common challenge, which is someone who was anxious, who is an introvert, who wanted to be able to speak, but just had to face that confidence issue first before I could really become a confident speaker. And then after that, it was just, developing confidence and developing those skills in order to be the speaker that I am today.
Thank you, Sarina. And I think that's the true fact. When you are introverted and you overcome your barrier, and we mostly, that people, they have a neuroplasticity. Some people, they know about it. Some people, they don't. And I have seen in my lifetime that Asian people or African people, they are more into neuroplasticity than the as usual white population, because I have seen it myself, because our parents are different than the English parents, I would say. So they are very safeguarded with their children. Like, okay, you cannot do that. We cannot do that. And Asian parents, that's I said you have to do that. That's the thing. So that gave us, neuroplasticity. So we have grown differently. I can see my son here. We don't do that like Asian way, that okay, you have to do that, something like that. So he's growing up and my growing up, if I match them together, is different. So I did not know about neuroplasticity before. Now I know about neuroplasticity. So you can push your limits, isn't it? Because if you do not push your limit, then you cannot create new things. So uh, through your talking today, we can understand that you have to push your limits. You have to come from your comfort zone, and you have to try to become a speaker. Because if you are a business person, you cannot be a good business person if you cannot talk, isn't it? You cannot sell. You
Exactly.
cannot convince people. So in relation to that, I know that there are a lot of business people within our communities, and they are watching this webinar. Um, why specific person has to gain these experiences, why it is necessarily needed right now.
Hmm. I think in particular right now is because of the opportunity we have. And it's
Mhm.
almost an expectation actually that business owners are able to present. Because when you think of what business was like, I don't know, 50 years ago, no one was expected to, to present much. Right.
Mhm.
Why would they? But nowadays with media, with the advancement of technology, you've got so many different opportunities. Expectation, well, why aren't you on social media? Why aren't you on podcasts or webinars? It would
Mhm.
be, it's a little bit unusual to not be doing these things. So at the moment
Mhm.
we have an incredible opportunity that we can make the most of. So I think now more than ever, it's so important. We can go to, international global conferences. We can speak at those conferences. We can speak to a global audience
Mhm.
online. We can post those videos. And this, I think, is an incredibly empowering thing, because one of the things about speaking on videos, of course, you can do it from your own home, right? So
Mhm.
no matter what
Yeah.
situation you are in life, whether you have a disability, an illness, whether you're a parent that needs to stay home, whether you have social anxiety, whether you're an introvert who doesn't like to be on stage, it doesn't matter, because we have a stage right here and that's on camera. So that means that
Mhm.
everyone really can get those same opportunities and make the most of what's out there. So I think now more than ever, it's so very important to develop those speaking skills for both in person and virtual audiences, and get out there and get your business out there so that you can get that visibility and reach more people for business growth.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarina. We are nearly halfway through, and times just today is just gone like this. Uh, So thank you everyone for joining today's live webinar. I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui from GenZ Marketing Agency, and we have Sarina Mann. Those you don't know Sarina, she is, I would say, very capable of creating new profiles. She is very capable of creating new speakers, and she also runs different type of courses within her capacity. If you wanted to contact her, and if you need help, you know that is bad. Sometimes when we hesitate, we cannot overcome our barrier. So you need to ask for help. If that's the first thing. So if you are an SME leader and you think that you're struggling, it's the best time for you to talk to Sarina, I would say, or similar speakers. Those people, they create speakers, they can train you specific way, and it's like holding your hands and to deliver your dream, and creating a neuroplasticity to grow your expertise to the next level. So, Sarina, there are key components like signature talk. So, when you create specifically a signature talk profile, uh, what are the end-to-end processes in there? Like, okay, I want to be I want to be a speaker, and I wanted to create a signature talk. So what should I consider to do that, or how you would do or build that one?
Mhm. So I think the first things to consider are, who are your audience. So make it relevant to your audience. So I think whenever we speak for anything, it always needs to start with purpose and audience.
Mhm,
So who is my audience, and what's the purpose of this talk? Do I want to get them to sign up for a course? Do I want to sell a product? Because when you have clear purpose, then all the content of that talk fits into that purpose and needs to make sure it's all um, fitting in with the same goal and the same purpose.
mhm,
So, what's the purpose and who's the audience? I think there's also an aspect of, at this point, introducing your own personal story. So, your personal story isn't, you know, letting go of all your, I don't know, sharing your innermost secrets or these kinds of things. It's actually a business story. It
mhm,
just shows the why behind your business. That's what that does. So it's quite strategic. So when I share my story, I share my story about how I was, how I grew up with stage fright and anxiety. That's my story because it's relevant to my audience, and it's very relevant to what I do in terms of my coaching. So it's
mhm.
working out your story that's relevant to your audience that will help you to connect with your audience. So it's knowing your audience, having a good purpose, creating your business. It's a personal story, but it's your add into your keynote, or things
Mhm,
that you do really. What is it, that what problem are you solving, and how are you solving that, why it's important to solve that problem, and then some kind of call to action that's important too. So what do you want people to do or to think as a result of hearing you speak? So that's important too, and that will relate to right back at the beginning, which is being clear on the purpose of your talk. So in a way, as Stephen
mhm,
Covey says, we start with the end in mind, and then work backwards to start building out that talk. So then after that, it's really working on those presentation skills. All right. So first,
mhm.
you have you're clear on your content, and then you practice delivering it in a way that will be engaging.
Thank you, Serena. The next question would be just relevant questions to the next one. Uh, what are the key components of an effective speaker reel?
The key components of a speaker reel, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, like a show reel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when you are wanting to show yourself as a speaker, and you want to effectively show you in action. That's the most important of a speaker show reel. The most important part of a speaker show reel: show you in action and show the
Mhm,
problems that you're solving. So you're giving a live demonstration. So you're not just speaking about your topic. You're actually showing yourself, preferably on a stage speaking, and you have different clips of you speaking, that will be the best type of show reel. So if someone wants to book you to speak, they can see what you're looking like and how
Mhm.
you would be if they were to book you to speak. So it's show, don't tell. Show them you in action.
Mhm. Thank you. I will have another questions. Before I go to jump onto the questions, I will thank all the audiences. Thank you very much for um, joining today's webinar. And if you wanted to contact Sarina directly, you can contact her through social media, specifically through LinkedIn. And you can also check her website and other details from her profile. And if you wanted to talk to me, please feel free to talk to me or book anything. Send me messages or emails. All the details are on LinkedIn and all other social media. And people, viewers on other social media, if you're watching this program through YouTube or Facebook, thank you. You can send us a message through YouTube or Facebook. We can show that messages here on the messaging section. So things have we have another questions on the messaging section. I'm going to be asking that a little bit later. But before I ask that question, I want to ask another questions, because nowadays uh, YouTube's, TikToks, and a lot of other things, Reels, and a lot of things is happening in the social media aspects. Uh, some people say, they ask me, okay, do I create Reels? And how do I create Reels? Although I do not train people to become a speaker, but I continually get these kind of questions from people like, okay, you are doing events, or do you create Reels? And how do I create lists? What I can include in my Reels, and what can I include on my website as well? So, do you have any specific suggestion for the audience that, okay, if you're creating a video for social media, that should include these five assets, or if you're creating a reel for your website, that should include this kind of things that
Mhm.
will really benefit the audience.
Sure, yeah. So that's what I go into in my coaching. But just in brief, if you're doing reels, I think a very simple way of thinking about that is answer a frequently asked question. So keep it, obviously, you want to keep it short. You need to if it's an Instagram reel anyway. But overall, I advise that anyway, just to keep your videos as short as possible, whilst adding lots of value. So that is the key. You're adding lots of value, you're keeping it short. And to think of topics to answer, I'd say you can answer some frequently asked questions. But what I tend to do with my clients is we work out their whole content strategy for a 12-month period so that they can easily just choose their videos to record, batch produce them. So it's not taking up a huge amount of time. But I think as an overall principle, what is really helpful is just think, what frequently asked question can I answer today? And just think about how you could help your audience today and answer some kind of question that is relevant to them. So it's always keeping that in mind. What's valuable? What question could I answer? And how can I do that in just a short video? I think for your homepage, it's a little bit different because you're really introducing yourself. So it's about who are you? What do you
Mhm.
do? How do you help people? And what do you have on offer? So that's really what you're thinking about for a homepage video. So it's a bit more about who you are rather than any kind of short, snappy, frequently asked questions. So it's a different type of content.
Mhm.
And it will also be a longer type of video.
Thank you. My next connected question is, um, we know that we need to create videos, we need to create speaker profiles, and a lot of other things. Uh, is there any number that, okay, you need to create 5 or 10 or 20 or hundreds? Because there isn't any limitation, isn't it? So, what is your good suggestion to the audiences that, okay, don't worry or worry too much? What they should do, how many they need to start with, and how they can grow.
Hmm. Great question. I think to start with, you first need to learn the skills. All right. So there are a few things you need to do before you start posting,
Mhm.
which is, you're working out the content. So what's the purpose? Who's your audience? What do you want to say? Get the structure, get the wording, and then learn to present. And then once you have that, you can go with it, right? But you don't have to do a specific number. But I think learn those skills first, and then don't overcommit. So don't say, obviously announce on your social media, I'll be posting a daily video because you probably can't keep up with that to begin with. Even a daily video is too much. You don't need that. I'd say once a week is probably a good number to aim for if you do a video once a week. And don't overcommit. So if you think you could start with one video a month, start with that. Then you could increase it to maybe once every other week. But the main thing is don't sort of overcommit and overdo it at the start and then see it just fizzle out into nothing. So you want a plan that's suitable for you, that you can achieve, and that you'll be able to stick to and do it consistently. Ideally, the main guideline, but there's no fixed number. And again, it depends. I mean, every business is different. Sometimes if you're one of my clients does lots of different kinds of art. So she's able to do very short 15-second reels where she's just demonstrating some kind of thing that she's doing with her art. So that's fantastic. And so then you can show lots of visual things and just briefly speak about it. So every business is different. Some businesses, it's easier to do more videos. Some businesses, you need to think more strategically about how you want to do that. So there's no fixed number. But I think the main thing is consistency. So be consistent. We hear it all the time in business, but it's actually true. Be consistent with your videos because it takes time as well. It's not like if you all of a sudden post 100 videos in 1 month, wow, you're going to get all this business. It's not really like that. If you post every week for a few months, then people get to know you and you start to build up a following. So like with everything, it takes time to build. So I'd say start small and then build up and then be consistent with that.
Thank you, Sarina. Thank you very much for this information, because sometimes people, they worry too much and they wanted to do extra work to become successful. And for myself, when I start creating videos, I didn't have any clue that what should I do. But my wife used to be a YouTuber. She's not doing it now. She paused it for her work purpose. But I learned from her as well that, okay, if you're going online, what you should do. She was making video last 3-4 years back, and I just started nearly 2 years now. So I would request to the audience that learn first, know first, and if you need help, seek support from a qualified person like Sarina. And another thing that I wanted to include here, there's some people, they think that you have done a video, it is on TikTok, it is on YouTube, it is on Reels, and you will get millions of views. It doesn't happen like that way. You need to do SEO, search engine optimization. You need to reach those target audience, and then it will snowball, because people normally don't know you, who you are. So if you think that, okay, you have done a video and people will come and you will have 1 million views, that's less likely. So thank you, Sarina, for today's your brilliant contribution to the audiences. And thank you very much to everyone they are listening today. Please spread the word, because if you do not spread the word, we do not have successes. So we will be only successful when you look for us and you seek our supports, because I have seen Sarina supporting many individuals, and they are successful in their own way. And you know that every person is different. So Sarina works with individual, and she also understands if you are a neurodivergent, if you are a business person, if you are introverted. She been through these stages, so she can guide you through better. I have another questions from Shantanu Adib. I just wanted to share that on the screen. Uh, he said, how can you leverage speaking engagement for business networking and growth?
Thank you for that question. It's a great question, because after we have our speech, then we need to absolutely use it, leverage it so that we get that business growth. So I think many different ways. It depends where you are with your speaking, what kind of business you have, what audiences you're trying to reach. But basically, it is going for opportunities. So if you can go to networking events and offer to speak, so the more you offer to speak, the more people will know about you. So the great thing about becoming a speaker is that you won't be shying away from it anymore. So you will leverage those opportunities. So networking, conferences, all kinds of different conferences that you can apply to speak at. Sometimes it's about going to the business expos and you can run a small workshop there. You can, of course, do all kinds of speaking online, as we mentioned, with your webinars, with your videos. So it's actually getting your content, getting your speaking sorted in terms of who you want to reach, why do you want to reach them, what's the purpose, what types of things you're going to do. That's why I recommend your 5 speaker assets. I think those 5 speaker assets are really the most important thing to actually get that going. And then put yourself out there for opportunities. Like with your videos, it's not about waiting for opportunities. It's about you creating them, which is the most amazing thing about our current world. It's all about creating opportunities. So I want to put out a video, well, I create one. I want to do a webinar, well, I create one. I want to do my networking pitch, I create it. I want to speaking opportunities, I find one, or I can create it too, because you can host your own events. So it's about that proactive approach. I want to be out there. So how am I going to do that? Looking for opportunities, telling people as well that you're looking for speaking opportunities. I'm a speaker. I speak about my business. This is what I speak about. And I'm looking for opportunities. So spreading the word to your immediate networking network and asking them to let you know about speaking opportunities that you can have.
Thank you, Sarina. We have another 2 questions. We are nearly end of our session. It's time just fly today. And I just wanted to ask you the next question from Ridwan. You can see what are the core elements of effective speaking that are fundamental for delivering a message that resonates and engage your audience?
Okay, thank you for asking that. It's very similar to a question we had earlier, so I don't want to cover exactly the same content. So I'm just going to add a little bit to that, which is, I think it really is those core presentation skills. Or you're confidently speaking. You've got your great body language, your facial expression, your words, your language, your voice, your tone. You're bringing your passion and enthusiasm as well, because people can sense your enthusiasm, and that really, really helps. So I think it's all of that, and then using it in the right way for the right audience. So you want to really connect with them. And again, many ways you can do that, like through your personal story. So who are you, and why would people be interested in working with you? So who is the person behind the business? That's all about personal branding, isn't it? And I think this is where the speaking is really coming in these days so much more, because it is about that personal branding. So when you're on video, that's your personal branding. It doesn't mean you're sharing all your personal secrets or whatever. If you don't want to do that, then that's fine. And most people don't. Then what personal branding is just, it's you delivering the content and you sharing something about business that can help someone. So those core elements really are, learning the skills, being clear on your audience, being engaging, telling stories. And it's not only your personal story. You can use storytelling as a technique that you use to engage your audience. I think that's probably one of the most important ones, because everyone generally likes a story. They engage more with that, and you can feel more connected with your audience. So that will, I think, engage them so much more. So I'd say those are some real core elements there. But I mean, it depends on you as a speaker. Sometimes I would say also, well, I say it to everyone actually, it's about finding your speaker style. So what's your speaker style and according to your personality, because you don't want to be a different person when you speak, right? You want to be the same person. So you're using elements of your personality and allowing that to shine through so that you are authentic. Authenticity is a bit of a buzzword at the moment, but I'd say that's important. It's important to be authentic. That doesn't mean just be yourself, though. It means, in my opinion, authenticity means to be true to your values and your personality in the context in which you're speaking. So, of course, you're going to be different for different situations, because you're adapting what you want to say and how you say it to different audiences. But you can still be true to your personality, true to your values when you speak. And then you'll be much more authentic. And honesty these days is a good thing. And I think these days, especially, people like it when you show your human side. That's why I actually often say it's no problem with saying, I've gone blank. If you've gone blank, people kind of like that human side to you, and that's absolutely okay. So that authenticity, I think, will really make a huge difference to any speaker.
Thank you, Sarina. We are nearly end of our session. We have another questions, but I think we don't have that time to ask you that questions. So at the end of our program, we ask our guest to um, include five or any key takeaways. So if you could elaborate the key takeaways from today's session, then I think most of the audience, they will have a grasp, okay, what they need to do, the five key takeaways for them to become a speaker.
Brilliant. So, 5 key takeaways from today are definitely to create your 5 speaker assets to grow your business. Every business owner needs these assets, right? So, you've got your signature speech. Who do you want to communicate your message to? And create a signature speech that's memorable, that's engaging, that's authentic, and that will get your audience on board every time you deliver it. Your signature speech really counts. Your networking pitch. It's just 60 seconds, but it's a really important 60 seconds. Make it count. Say that at every networking event that you're at so that you're memorable and that so your networking pitch gets you results. Your webinars or your online events or your online workshops. Don't limit yourself geographically. Get out online so that you can reach a broader audience. Your social media videos. Start producing social media videos. Just take one small step forward to start creating them, and eventually you'll build up an audience, you'll feel more confident, and it will pay off. And then lastly, your homepage video, which shows who you are, who you help, this kind of thing. If you have all these speaker assets together, I'd say you have a very strong business, and one that can where you can really utilize speaking to grow your business. So I'd say those were the 5 key takeaways. Make the most of those 5 key speaker assets and develop those.
Thank you, Sarina. It's been a pleasure today talking to you and know a lot about speaking profiles and as well as a lot of other information. So I think most of the people they are watching today will learn something, and they can also contribute. And if they are thinking that okay, they need to talk, and as well as they will come from their comfort zone, they have to do it now, because you know that social media is everywhere. People spend more than 6 hours every day, um, and if you do not create your speaker profile, if you do not want to engage to the target audience, then the future generation, they are very tech savvy and they are very much on rails. You will lose them in future, because they wouldn't know you. And if you're a business person and if you wanted to sell to them, they wouldn't value you, because they will select those people, they have a voice. And today's landscape, your voice matters. That's why, Sarina, here, your voice matters. So if you do not speak, people will forget about you. I'm a good example of that. When I did not speak, when I was introverted, um, no one listened to me. Doesn't matter the how good I am and what I can bring and what challenges I can face. Uh, it doesn't matter. Only matters speak with confidence. And if you cannot do it, Serena is here and other people are here. If some people they are far away, even Serena does her workshops online as well. So if you are on the other parts of the country or world, you can still talk to Serena through her profile. And please, please, if you do not talk, if you do not raise your voice, no one will listen to you. So to create things, you have to start speaking today. So Serena, thank you. I just wanted to ask you if you have any last comment for the audience, and then please stay on the line. I will say bye bye to the people, and then I will talk to you, and then say you bye bye. So do you have the last message?
Absolutely, yes. My last message would be that everyone can become an amazing speaker. Really, it's true. I know that because I did that myself. It's about just taking one step forward, no matter how small that is. That's okay. Take one step forward and know that you can become a confident speaker. There's no reason why not. It's about learning the skills and then applying them.
Thank you, Serena. Please stay on the line, and I will say bye bye to the audience. Just give me a couple of seconds to say bye bye to them. And thank you, everyone, for joining today's live webinar. We appreciate your support and please spread the word. You know that we intend to contribute a lot throughout these channels. We talk about digital marketing, we talk about social selling, we talk about how you can be a good speaker, and as well as how you can build your business, and a lot of other things we talk about to contribute to your knowledge through our social media. And we need your support. Please spread the word and please keep liking our work as well as a lot of other things we do. You do not need to buy things from us, but if you wanted to engage with knowledge, please refer us, because creating knowledge is creating future generation, is creating a stronger community. So we need your support, and with your support, we can uh, gain more control to the community. We can gain, we can express our, we can express and as well as support the community better. So thank you very much for joining today's live webinar. I will welcome you next week. Tuesday we have NVC events, and Wednesday the audio events, and next Thursday we have Andy Business Club, and Friday we are doing another events. So we just have 4 events next week. So thank you very much for joining today's webinar. I will see you next week, and bye bye.